This is the Meaning Business Podcast, your go-to source for business tips, advice, growth, and exit strategies, hosted by Bruce Kudry and Peter Spinder. Each episode, we bring you real stories, expert insights, and practical advice to help you succeed in today's market. Let's dive in.
Normally, we just roll into this without any planning, right? We just
pretty much
free ball it.
I do have notes today.
Yeah, I know. We've started to take this a bit more seriously now. But I'm really excited about what's coming up in the next few months. I think we've got some really good things in the pipeline.
Absolutely. We've got some really good guest speakers. We've got some really cool topics.
I think so.
Very topical.
Yeah, relevant. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's what I think. The people out there can be the judge. They can listen.
Yeah, what we should be saying is give us some feedback, comment on the socials, comment below.
Yeah.
And in fact, get in touch with us and tell us what you want to hear us talk about. Tell us your problems.
Well, yeah.
Ask us questions. And let's have conversations and let's
Exactly.
invite people in for a talk.
I'd like to know that, but more importantly, I'd really like to know what they don't agree with us on.
Yeah.
You know, we spoke the other day about having a plan B or not having a plan B. You know, we're going to talk about some stuff today.
Yep.
I'd like to see what people have to say about that. So if you disagree, bring it on.
Absolutely.
I want to hear from you.
We do want to hear from you. And if you've got any questions, we want to hear from you as well.
Yeah. Maybe we can't answer them, but we'll hear from you anyway.
Absolutely. All right, so what are we going to talk about today?
Well, we did plan it. I do know. We're going to talk about marketing.
Okay.
And how marketing is the answer to every business owner's problems.
Yeah.
Or not.
Is it really? Is it really? And absolutely the fallacy, isn't it? Marketing.
Well, yeah, but you know, I know. I actually hear from you talking to me when you go to see clients for the first time, or when other advisors have gone to regional areas under guidance or from regional councils or governments. A lot of the advisors are just telling their clients they need digital marketing, they need marketing, you need to move them.
you got to be on social media, you got to be on Facebook, you got to do this, you got to do that.
Yeah.
And,
So-
it's as if marketing is the answer to everything. And in fact, you know why people say that? It's because quite often people turn to marketing because they've got a revenue issue. They've got a cash flow problem.
Correct.
Something to do with cash is the usual cause.
Yes.
And they think that if I go out and market more and I sell more, that's going to fix my problem.
Yep.
And therein lies a massive, massive fallacy.
Yeah.
I had a very, very successful, fast-growing business as my first business. I got very lucky, and it was pure luck, you know, right timing, everything. I mean, I knew nothing about business back in 1999, age 19.
Is this the textbook business or the jewelry
we
business?
ended up setting up I'm fairly certain it was the first online bookshop in Australia, selling textbooks to university students, TAFE students, etc. We did very well. What we did well was really understand the customer. We understood the way that they thought. We understood their triggers. We were uni students ourselves. Now, what do uni students like to do? They like to party. They like alcohol. They like having sex. They like all of that sort of stuff. And we did tap into all of that with our marketing. We had some really cool guerrilla-type aggressive marketing campaigns. We had partnership with a massive, large international condom manufacturer, energy drinks manufacturer, coffee franchise. We didn't do alcohol, but we did do a clothing brand as well, national clothing brand. And we had all this sort of cool stuff happening. We actually became known as a online textbook shop giving away condoms and energy drinks. And we made the media and we grew really, really fast. And I thought that that's all I needed to do. At that time, I thought that profit
was the solution.
equals, cost of buying. The price that I sell the book at for minus the cost of buying the book. So there's a gap.
Yes.
And I thought, okay, that's my profit.
You thought gross profit was net profit.
That's right. And I thought the gross profit is my profit. It's cash in the bank. And that's how we treated the business. We made a lot of money, multi-million-dollar turnover business. And unfortunately, that one little fallacy of ours, that one little mistake of gross versus net, and the big mistake that all we needed to do was market really well, led to the eventual collapse of the business. So we went up, flew up like a rocket, did very well for a period, and then the whole thing collapsed.
Yep.
And it was only afterwards, on reflection, that I realised, I actually got it really wrong, because marketing's just one part of a complex web of business. We've got technology, we've got legal, licensing, we have got
staffing, quality control,
absolutely,
standards.
finance is part of it. So all of these different components, all these different pillars make up a business. So if all you do is focus on your marketing and bringing in more work, and you don't actually bring everything else on the journey at the same time, you're going to be up the creek without a paddle because, you might have a lot of customers, you might have a lot of cash coming in for a period, but you're going to stuff it up. You're not going to be able to fulfill the marketing messages. So if you say to someone, come and we'll fulfill your order or whatever it might be, and if you're unable to do it, then you've got a disconnect. You're going to have an unhappy customer. Your revenue is going to go down. Next thing you know, you're looking at bank balance is actually going in the black or in the red. Sorry, and you're thinking, how did I get in this situation?
So the other, and I've done this too. I've fallen in this trap before too. So things are going okay or could be better. People come to you and advise you, well-meaning, or you read a lot, or you look at social media or whatever, and it looks like the easy, quick fix is marketing. So you think, and you create a marketing plan, you get someone on, you talk to a radio station or AdWords or whatever it is. That's going to be... So for a short period of time, you're convinced this is going to fix my problems, this is going to be my solution. And then it doesn't. Or, more importantly... You bring more people in, but the product is faulty, the service isn't right, you're not offering the right product at the right time, or whatever it is. So you've wasted that money in marketing, and in fact, you potentially brought people in and turned them away, and you'll never get them back.
100%. And that whole concept of wastage in marketing is so powerful if you really understand that as a business owner. So I remember a few years back, a client engaged us to assist with marketing, usual sort of thing. And after about an hour conversation with them, I realized that it had nothing to do with marketing. Marketing wasn't the issue because they were already spending, about 10 or 15,000 a month on digital marketing. They actually were getting traction. The problem actually was the conversion was very low, first of all. So digital conversion on their website, they were an e-commerce client. The second issue that they had was they were unable to fulfill orders effectively enough, which meant that they were losing customers as a result. So the purpose of their marketing at that point was always to fill the bucket of new clients or new customers coming in because they kept losing existing customers. Existing customers weren't coming and buying again and again and again. The repeat customer wasn't there because of the poor service.
So now they've got this cycle where they've got to spend more money to get more customers in because the customers are getting in and they're not retaining.
That's right.
So we need more new customers.
And that's exactly what
so
we did with the bookshop.
Customer.
That's right. We had that mentality that, you know what, it doesn't matter. I don't care about my customer because, there's plenty of fish out in the sea.
We'll get some more ones.
That's right.
And we're the only ones doing this probably is what you're thinking.
So with that online business, that client, what we ended up doing was we actually paused all marketing. We stopped marketing for a period, and that you could think, okay, well, you could say that was dangerous, but it wasn't, because we stopped it in order to focus on fixing the systems, fixing the processes. It took a few months and things got fixed, and we went through a bit of a transformation and relaunched. What ended up happening was that when we turned the marketing back on, we didn't elevate the amount of money that they spent. What ended up happening was they started converting a lot more of the prospects into customers. So a lot of the traffic that was coming through, they didn't leave their shopping carts behind on the website. The other thing that ended up happening is that organically, a lot of the customers started coming back, and the repeat customer base it shot through the roof. So without spending any more money on marketing, we almost doubled the revenue of that business.
Yeah, so client retention and thinking about what you can upsell and how you can manage your existing clients. But you had to build them first, and the marketing got them there.
Absolutely.
So marketing is a critical part of running a business, but it's not the only thing, and it's certainly not always the solution.
That's right.
But it's an easy solution. It's an easy fix. I see commonly when we look at businesses' performances and their value and how to sell them, quite often, and I'll come back to this later with another story, quite often the remote owner or the owner who's not prepared to kind of get involved in the business thinks, well, the easy solution is just throw more money at it and either throw marketing at it or put more staff on board. So if they've got poor customer service, we'll just get more staff on. And if they've got, they think their revenue needs to grow, just throw more marketing money at it. And I've seen a particular business where the revenue was always around about 4 or 5 million. Actually, it was growing. So it was 5 million a year. And the owner stepped away from the business and the revenue fell down to 3 million a year. So he threw money at marketing and it would improve the sales. But their marketing was mistake-ridden because it cost a lot of money. They got customers in, but they were discounting to get the customers in. So the net margin wasn't any more than what they were making before. So they've got their revenue coming back up to the 5 million mark, but now they're putting more and more and more staff on. The staff turnover is huge because he's not there to manage the business. So marketing wasn't the solution at all. It was getting all the basics right, thinking about your business plan and how marketing makes that business plan come to life.
Absolutely. And the danger in today's world is that there's a lot of keyboard warriors. We're all keyboard warriors, especially if something negative happens. And so if you've got a negative experience with the business, it doesn't matter what industry, people will go on Google, they'll go on the different platforms and they'll leave that 1-star review. And over time, the impact of negative marketing can be enough to drive a brand to non-existence. You might as well just shut the brand down and start again under a different model.
Happens in hospitality,
You see it all the time.
Yeah, it's huge.
Now, we wanted to share a video with everyone. This fantastic crab restaurant, Bob Chin's Crab House in the US. And
I'm looking at it. It doesn't look impressive at all.
It doesn't look impressive on the outside, and you'll see the video in a second. And in the podcast and YouTube description, we'll put the link to the documentary series on Prime, on Amazon Prime. This restaurant was, for quite a long time, one of the highest earning or grossing restaurants in the US. In a 2012 Forbes report or Forbes article, at that time, they were turning over something like $21 million in revenue, not including alcohol sales in US dollars at that time. So that's about $35 million, probably about $40 million turnover restaurant. What's extraordinary about Bob Chin's is that they've been around for like 50 or 60 years, and despite the amount of customers that come through, so at any point in time, they serve something like 2,500 meals a day. On holidays, 4,500 meals during holidays. They've been around for 50 years.
Yeah.
You go, how? What have they done?
Yeah.
And this little video is really powerful. It gives you a bit of a glimpse into this particular business. And we'll talk about it after we played it.
So let's have a look. It's going to make me hungry.
In Illinois, the biggest crab joint in the Midwest is gearing up for their Saturday rush.
Hello, Blanco. See and taste.
Manny constantly monitors the lunchtime stocks of fresh seafood.
Would you eat there?
I
This
would.
is going to tell me how many king crabs
Look at the technology.
I have available. So I have one 4.5 pounder, one 3 1/4
So
pounder.
they know exactly what they've got in stock.
This is designed to maximize the orders.
And the thing about
And
their
this
stock
way,
is you
the server
can't,
won't run
you've
something
got to
in
get
that
it
we don't
fresh,
have.
so you
That's
can't
right.
With this
stockpile.
system, we're able to put out one meal every 15 seconds.
Systemize it so well. One meal every 15 seconds. That's insane.
With their supplies of crabs running out fast,
think
David
it's-
sends his
and look at that,
trusted
they know
driver,
exactly
Israel,
when they need to go and pick
collect
up
more from the
more.
And they
airport
come from New
before the
Zealand.
dinner rush.
All over the world.
So they're not going to be cheap.
No, they
We
won't
have
be.
a shipment is coming from New Zealand and another shipment is coming from Alaska.
1,000 crates of seafood are flown into.
And you know that to serve up 4,500 plates a day, the coordination is just incredible. You can only pull that off with the right
It
sort of
requires
systems.
precise timing and organisation.
Absolutely.
Great systems.
So you can imagine if they didn't have this, there's no way they could do this. There's no way. It could be sustainable. It could be a one-off maybe as a pop-up, but that's it.
But sometimes volume makes you more efficient. You can create efficiency because you've got such great volume.
Absolutely.
That's the good part of the crab.
But here's the thing with the volume is that often the volume then may come at the detriment of quality. So when we're talking about hospitality, like you see here, they're really focused on the quality and consistency.
Yes.
Every meal is the
Yes.
same every time, every bite.
That's a huge part of their business.
And I know for a fact that they got it right because they've been around for 50-something years. First of all, you're not around for that long if you're not good. Second of all, you go online and you Google these guys, the number of positive reviews is incredible.
We're talking about them.
That's right.
And they're not spending money to market it. We've
right.
heard about it on a documentary.
And this is a 30-minute documentary about the business and the model. So that video and that business is quite extraordinary. Now, I've got some notes here, but like I said before, on an average day, 2,500 meals, holidays, 4,500 meals. Now, what's interesting about their meals isn't just the fact that they're fresh. There's a really high price to value ratio. So yes, the food might be higher priced for some, maybe, I don't know, Alaskan crabs or whatever it might be. But the portions that they provide are so big that you look at the price and go, okay, that I can see the value. I'm going to keep coming back to that. The quality is really high. what's really interesting about it is that the actual recipes themselves, the actual meals themselves, none of the meals take longer than 15 minutes to prep. So they put a lot of thought into the structure of the meals, into the dishes they put out. So it's not just about having these fancy meals taste fantastic, but it's also about how quickly could we put these out, how easy is it to replicate that meal. So every meal has a recipe card, standard operating procedure. They've got 100 chefs working in the kitchen. I mean, the only way you could do that is through systems, coordination, processes, everyone talking and communicating.
It's easier to train people when you've got good systems and processes.
Absolutely.
It's not somebody's opinion.
Absolutely.
That's how you do it. But then, on top of that, you put the layer of marketing because you've got the basis there to handle whatever volume marketing brings you. You're away.
And so watch the documentary because it talks about a few other things. For example, when guests come into the restaurant, quite often they have to wait for a table. I mean, with that many guests coming in, you've got to wait. So what they've done is while you're waiting, they've got a bit of an experience while you're waiting. And they've got their own custom, I think it's like a daiquiri or some sort of a margarita or whatever it might be. And they have these things for the guests so that you're not just sitting there twiddling your thumbs and everyone's looking around going, okay, should I have been sitting here for 10 minutes? They're engaging you.
It's very American.
So that all of a sudden the 10 minutes goes by and you're there, you're next.
And you're a bit drunk, so you'll order more.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and again, it goes back to what we're discussing here, that if all these guys focused on was marketing, this business wouldn't be around for 50 years. They're around because of the systems, the processes, because of that dedication.
And their product, probably, yeah.
Product.
Yeah. But
and the other thing,
process gives you the product.
Absolutely. But the other interesting thing, we talked about this in one of the previous podcast episodes, is that you don't necessarily need to have 50 locations as a business. You don't necessarily have to turn a really good cafe into a franchise, into a multi-location business. You don't have to do that.
No. In fact, I think there's a very strong argument to say, and Fergburger in New Zealand is a great example, only one store, just doing it supremely well. When I had service stations, in the 90s, we made this decision to have multiple sites. So rather than have one big, massive service station, we tried to have one big service station and then all these little satellites around it who were kind of inefficient, but the efficiency of the group meant it was profitable. Overall, we would have been way better with one big mega service station than all these little ones with staff issues and different suppliers and different times and, insurance issues. Just put it all in one. Do it great, do it well. It's definitely an argument for that.
Absolutely. And you can always add innovation into that. So Fergburger, for example, they started off as a burger joint, but they've now got their pub with their Ferg beer.
Ice creams.
They've got the ice creams.
I think they've got
the
bakery.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So you kind of go, okay, well, you haven't actually scaled as such from a location point of view, but you have still scaled and you have still remained true to the core, true to the brand.
Yep.
And you've brought that brand spirit to everything. And the crab joint that we just watched, they do the same thing. And it's interesting because in the US, they like things big. And there was an episode that I watched last night about the biggest donut shop in Texas. I can't remember the volume of donuts, but it is just insane. Like, we're talking millions a year. They've got like these big Texas donuts and everything like that. And it's just, again, it's just one location. And what they do really, really, really well is they produce shitload of donuts effectively. Every time it's the same quality. People are lining up. They know exactly what to expect. There was another one on a truck stop. And one of the gentlemen that they interviewed, he was saying that I've been coming to this truck stop since the mid-'60s. And, that's like 50 years ago, something like that. And he's been ordering same dish pretty much each time. And the dish doesn't change. So it's...
He goes there with that expectation. This is what I'm going to get. He's probably looking forward to it on the way there.
Absolutely. So, marketing's good in that marketing generates the brand awareness and gets the customers in. But then it's up to the rest of the business to keep up with marketing.
There's so many other components. And marketing is easily the easiest way to blow money. It could easily be...
bottomless pit.
The wrong thing to do.
Yep.
So if your product's bad, marketing it is not going to help. I saw last couple of weeks ago, the last episode of season 2 of Clarkson's Farm, if anyone's seen it. He opens this restaurant and he's got people waiting to come to this restaurant while they're still fitting the water to the taps and painting and putting the chairs in. In other words, no test run. So, of course, it's, a disaster. Well, it's not that bad, but it's not good.
Makes for a good show.
All they need to do was have a couple of run-throughs with the staff and the local people and their friends and family, get the thing right, and then open it.
Absolutely.
So many people do that. I did it. I started a business in 1984. So the day I took over, 1st of April 84, first thing I did was knock walls out and change it all, and we didn't get it right. We put the door in the wrong spot. The door would open, wind would blow around from the outside, leaves would blow into the store. If we'd taken our time and looked at it, we'd put the door in the right spot. But marketing and promoting something that's not fully set up is a waste of money. And the Ombuds, I think it was the Victorian Small Business Ombudsman spoke at a thing I was at, and said the number one cause of complaints in small business is online marketing and SEO marketers and Google Ads and that sort of stuff. The people that do that service, that's where, because, it's easy for me to promise you, Pete, I'm going to get you results. It's easy for you to give me money. It's easy for me to tell you, it takes time, 90 days, just sit in there, keep spending 10, 15, 20 grand a month with me, it'll get there. I believe there's probably some practitioners out there in that space who know they've got a client for 90 days, the result won't come, and move them on, get another one.
Rinse and repeat.
So, my message to business owners is don't throw a lot of money at marketing until you're sure that your product's right, your systems are right, your processes are right, you know who the market is, and the people that you're using to do the marketing are proven and will get the result for you.
Absolutely. And then when you're ready, rather than throwing all this money at attracting new customers, ask yourself the question of how can I make more money? How can I make more sales to my existing customer base?
Yeah.
Because that's the lowest cost. They already know the brand. They've already felt you, touched you. They've seen you. They've interacted with you and engaged with you. How do we get more from them?
Yeah, exactly. So the first customer is a repeat customer. So you want more repeat. The second is a referral.
Yep.
You want referral. And the third one is a new customer.
That's right.
But everyone's going for that new guy and they're ignoring the referral and the existing customer. Yeah, Barry, I know you've been here coming to get your food at the truck stop for 30 years, but move aside, we've got a new customer here.
Yeah, it's an interesting mindset that people have in business. They keep adding on more as opposed to making the most of what you've already got. I know in advisory, for example, I've got several conversations at the moment with former customers, former clients who were looking at coming back and doing things with. We've already had former clients come back that we've dealt with years ago, and you reapproach them after a few years and go, okay, how's your business going? Where are you up to? Can we come back in and can we assist you with more things? Worst thing that someone's going to say is, no, we don't need you at the moment, Peter. But if you don't ask, if you don't provide someone the opportunity to come and transact with you again, most people are going to go somewhere else. And then you're like, why didn't you come to me? Oh, you didn't tell me. I didn't know you were doing that.
Yeah.
So I think this has been a really timely discussion, especially given the fact that we've got some really tough economic conditions and a lot of people are looking at the way they're
especially in
spending
Victoria.
money.
Victoria is really tough.
Certain sectors, hospitality, for example, there's certain areas where we know that, it's been quite tight. Consumers are reading the media and thinking, I need to hold on to my money. I think things are changing, though.
It's coming back in some states, for sure.
Absolutely. So what would you say, I guess, the takeaway message for anyone listening to this?
Well, I just want to quickly give a little case study. And so what happened was these people had a jewellery business and they wanted to sell it, and they wanted to plan to sell it, so they renewed their lease. Good move. They refitted it. Good move. And their advisor or their accountant told them that what they should do is up their revenue, because the concept was more revenue equals more value, and they could sell for more. So they embarked on a fairly big marketing campaign with radio. They did letterbox drops. They did a lot of specials, so they were 50% off and all this sort of stuff. And their revenue went up, their margin went down, their gross profit was actually less, and their costs for marketing ate away at the bottom line. So when they came to sell the business, it was, and they ran it for like 18 months under this new regime to get the figures up to get it ready for sale. They were actually making less money, and because buyers looked at the fact that there was all this money being spent on marketing to regenerate that revenue, we've got this beast that we've got to feed of marketing now, because the expectation in the customers is we're going to sell this jewellery at this price. They actually devalued the business. So be careful about marketing, really think it through, really take first of all, marketing is lifeblood. It's
Absolutely.
essential.
Yep.
Not saying it's not necessary, but it is not the only solution. It is not the most important thing.
Yep.
So don't think if your business needs more revenue or profit or you want to grow value, don't think that marketing is the only solution. And it's not even the primary solution. It's a solution, but it's not it shouldn't be the focus. It should be one of the
100%
parts
agreed.
of the puzzle. That's my takeaway.
Yep, 100% agreed.
What
And
about
probably
you?
the thing that I'd say is don't be afraid of plateauing for a little while in your business. So don't be afraid that, okay, let's say you're doing $2 million turnover. Don't get into that habit of thinking that, every year we're going to keep growing, we're going to keep growing, we're going to keep growing. No, some years you're better off plateauing, you're better off maintaining. And while you're doing that, you're building on your systems, your processes, you're improving the back end so that next year you're getting ready for growth. You're getting ready to spend more money on the marketing, attracting the new, getting more referrals, getting more repeat business coming through. And you know that you've got the structure underneath to support that growth.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's what we've got to do. Sometimes we've got to grow. Sometimes we've got to plateau in order to work on the back end of the business.
So we'll probably talk about this some other time, but growth for growth's sake is not always the answer.
No,
I see this a lot in real estate offices. They think, put more people on the team. We're the biggest. That's the best. We're growing. But in quite often the case is that the pie is finite and all you're doing is sharing the pie in smaller pieces amongst the team that you've got
Or
there.
internal politics and bickering.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that later, I
Absolutely.
think, but it could be another topic. But growth for growth's sake is not necessarily the answer in all businesses either. And that, I think, takes us back to that point we mentioned before about the crab business, Fergburger, just having one perfect, great operating business can often be better than diluting it by trying to have growth for growth's sake and have 50 stores everywhere and, marginal employees and the standards drop.
Absolutely.
Talk about that at some other time, maybe. You look forward to that.
Sounds good. Well, thank you, Bruce. That was a nice chat, and keep listening and watching our videos and podcasts.
I'm going to go look at my marketing budget now.
Done.
Thanks, Pete.
See ya.
See ya.